Here's an experiment for you. Take passionate experts in human resource technology. Invite cross-industry experts from inside and outside HR. Mix in what's happening in people analytics today. Give them the technology to connect. Hit record. Pour their discussions into a beaker. Mix thoroughly. And voila, you get the HR Data Labs podcast, where we explore the impact of data and analytics to your business. We may get passionate and even irreverent, but count on each episode challenging and enhancing your understanding of the way people data can be used to solve real-world problems. Now, here's your host, David Turetsky.
Hello and welcome to the HR Data Labs podcast. I'm your host, David Turetsky, and like always, we try and find people inside and outside the world of HR to give you the latest on what's happening. Today, I'm talking to two outstanding individuals, Brian Escobar and Walter Duncan. Hello, both of you.
Hello, David. How are you?
Were you going to take a sip of your coffee, Brian? Did I interrupt that? Sorry, dude. I got introduced to Brian because he's a client of mine, and the two of these guys are outstanding podcasters in and of themselves. They're amazing. I'm going to ask them to give you a description of their podcast, but first, Walt, give us a description of yourself and how you've gotten to this moment.
Well, so for me, I've got into payroll by actually choosing the job. Most people that you speak to who have gotten into payroll have fallen into it. I've actually chose this career, right? So it was one of the different jobs I had to select when I was in the military, so I chose payroll.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's a little bit about me. Army brat. I served myself, back in 2001 to 2005. Been in payroll ever since, over 2 decades now. And we wanted to start the podcast because we wanted to empower people, So that's a little bit about myself, yeah.
Without sounding trite, thank you for your service, sir.
Oh, appreciate that.
Appreciate you keeping us safe.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Escobar.
Thank you, sir. Yes. So I'm Brian Escobar. Thank you so much. Father, a husband, a friend, hopefully to folks. Originally from New York.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, also been payroll pro for over 20 years now. It's also something kind of I fell into, right? Walt, we always joke around Walt that he picked it, but I'm one of the classic stories where I kind of fell into it.
Yeah.
It picked you, Brian.
Yeah, it picked me. Thank you very much.
There you go.
Yeah. And that's it, man. We're really excited to be with you, David. You were there with us from day one. I went to David for advice on this, and
despite that, you're still podcasting. So there you go. but let's talk a little bit about your podcasts. Let's talk about it's about your payroll and about your paycheck.
Absolutely. So we started. It's about payroll first. Really, again, like Walt said, to empower folks. We knew that there was just a lack of content.
Yeah.
And we started building a business, and we started looking and there was no content out there, whether we went to like learning platforms or YouTube or social media. For a while, it just got us mad. And then until it got us excited.
Exactly.
And we were like, wait a minute, we can fill this gap. So we started out and, we just started talking about payroll stuff. You can kind of hear the evolution, it gets better over time.
Yep.
We love it. Like folks come back to us and say, hey, it just feels like we're talking to friends.
Yeah.
And that's like, that means everything to us. Folks have been using it to prep for the CPP, the certified payroll exam.
Right.
I mean, just these little things that keep us going. It's really, and like you said, right? You said, Brian, it's thought leadership.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. I don't forget. So we have like 80 plus episodes on that. But then all of a sudden, we got the bug to say, well, wow, consumer education.
Yep.
We had a colleague that kind of put that in our ear a while back, and it took us a while to really figure out how to deliver that.
Yeah.
We were so ingrained in payroll that it's like, how do we flip it to the customer side and understand what they need to learn? And so we've been excited about that. That's been fun. And that's about it, man. We're just having a ball doing it.
Yeah.
That's what it's got to be about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because if you're not having fun doing it, it's not worth it.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because let's be honest, we're not going to be millionaires from doing podcasting.
Exactly.
No, we're not.
We're not going to get Joe Rogan money.
Yeah. For real.
It's all good.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So Walter, I'm going to start you first. What's one fun thing that no one knows about Walter?
One fun thing that no one knows about me, I am very creative. I love music, SoundCloud, everything like that. I have my own music on there, so you can go check it out and get some laughs in if you want to hear some music that was made on a cell phone or something. But yeah, I have a SoundCloud. I have like 800 followers right now, so yeah, that's it.
That's cool.
Oh,
well, you'll have 801 now, at least me. I'm going to go up there. You just have to give me the link to it.
Okay. Will do.
We'll post it.
Okay.
Brian, what's one fun thing that no one knows about Mr. Escobar?
This was a tough question, but I think the funnest thing I could think about was when I was working in New York, I came up in a scene of the movie The Switch with Jennifer Aniston and Jason Bateman. They were recording right in my building, actually. And I was coming back from lunch and hey, can I get in? They're like, no, we're recording. I'm like, okay, no problem. But I stood right where they stopped me at the line, and I'm like a blurry figure in one of the scenes. And I'm like, babe, I told my wife, babe, that's me. That's me.
You see that blob right there?
See that's bald head? The only reason she believed is because I had a bald head. Oh, she's like, oh, crap, maybe that is you.
Wow. Well, she's got to believe you, dude. There's nobody who's going to sign up for that blur is me.
A blur.
Unless,
Really. Exactly.
Yeah. Very impactful blur, though. Yeah, I think you made the movie, dude.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know where the SAG is going to call me or what.
You should be getting royalties. You should be getting royalties.
No royalties.
Exactly.
None. Nope. Sorry.
But that was one of the fun things about New York. You could just...
That's true.
You met amazingly famous people and made things all the time. So it was cool.
You can run into them on the street. You could run into a scene. Yeah.
Subways, elevators. I mean, it was great.
You're like, I didn't hang out in the restaurants they hang out in, but
No, I couldn't. Yeah. I still can't get into those.
Dude, I can't afford to get into those. Let's be honest.
Exactly.
Even if they said, oh, there's a seat open. I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to go to the hot dog stand right there.
Yeah. Oh, those are my favorites, but it got to be Sabrett's.
See, I'm kosher, so I can't eat that. But in New York City, you just walk a block and you get whatever.
That's right.
Yeah. Today's topic is going to be a lot of fun because we're going to borrow from your podcasting to talk about it's about your paycheck. And we're going to talk through the empowerment that is available to an organization by thinking about their employee as a customer.
Yes.
So our first question, why is it important to educate employees about their pay?
Hey, we're the Payroll Baddies, and our mission is to make payroll fun and relatable.
And call out industry when we hear it.
You got to call it out. You got to call it like you see it. But we also got to shine a light on all those unsung payroll heroes out there, making sure we get paid.
Yeah, those are the real payroll baddies out there, and we love sharing their stories and showing them love.
With gold chain and everything, baby.
By the way, SAP is the best payroll out there, and if you don't like it,
get out.
Many reasons, right? The first is you want them to be savvy. When they have problems, you want them to have some basic understanding of what's going on in their check.
Yeah.
And feel comfortable about asking questions. We run into folks that are afraid to ask their payroll departments, what's going on with my check? What does this code mean? Why is, something lower and looks different? And they're afraid. And we're like, no, these are things that any decent payroll department, any decent HR department is going to help you with. So it's really about empowerment and the lack of education that's out there available for them.
Well, I mean, do they even really get to see their paycheck these days? I mean, because usually you have to go, because I don't receive my pay stub.
David.
Dude, there's the mobile app, and I have to go to the mobile app, and I got to remember my password. Yeah. I got to go in, and, it goes in my account. It looks right.
And there you go.
But that's the problem,
right?
That's a common, yep.
We had a customer in the past years that went a whole year paying to the wrong state.
Yes.
And didn't realize it until year-end came, W-2 came, that they looked at.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, I don't live in that state. It was like $1,000 to the wrong state.
Mm-hmm.
That's a significant amount of money. But not a big amount of money per check.
Right.
So you don't go look at your stub and you don't realize these things.
Right. I think it goes back to even more fundamental financial education.
Yes.
People just don't really pay attention to their finances to the extent that they could be in big trouble or they could be losing money if they didn't actually know, or if they kind of plead ignorance on, I don't know, I trust my company. They'll do the right thing for me.
Yeah.
They'll find a problem if I have one.
Yep.
No, trust but verify.
Yes.
That's one of our famous quotes on the show. Trust but verify.
Yep.
But we have so many people that are living paycheck to paycheck and have very little financial acumen to begin with.
Yep.
Where do they start? If let's just talk. We have somebody listening to the podcast right now, and what would you encourage them to do to get started understanding their paycheck?
Well, get a trusted source, without being corny, like come and listen to us. But beyond that, it's start with your state,
start.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Start with your state. If most states will guide you and say, hey, look, we either default to the federal guidelines or here are our guidelines. So it's these little things to kind of, help them navigate. Start with your state, learn what you can. If they default to federal rules, go research the FLSA and the wage and hour laws from the federal level. And what the show wants to do is make this stuff digestible, right?
Yeah.
We want to break this down into easy concepts, one thing at a time. We talk about overtime, right? We just recorded a holiday show.
Yep.
Holiday pay.
Yes.
A lot of folks don't realize the policies behind it. You got to work before and after the day of the holiday to get the pay. Maybe eligibility is an issue. Maybe you're still in probation and you're not eligible.
Mm-hmm.
These little things that folks get frustrated about, and they want to know, they want to understand more.
Well, let me post this one to Walt.
Yeah.
To me, it's a question of two things. Number one, they are not experts in HR.
Mm-hmm.
They're not experts in payroll. So Brian's point about educating yourself and going to learn FLSA and learn about it, dude, they have no even idea what FLSA means.
Yeah.
So if you could simplify it, is there a place or a way for them to really understand, like get a cheat sheet on how to interpret their paycheck?
Unfortunately, from what Brian and I have seen, there's not a lot of resources out there outside of the government things that are out there on a state level, federal level, or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if there is, it's most likely with their employer. And a lot of employers don't do a good job with educating their employees about their pay. They let them know, like, hey, read your employee handbook. But that's a lot of stuff for them to cover and stuff like that. And they really don't basically make it easy for people to understand, right? So I honestly say that there probably isn't a lot of good resources out there for employees to really reach out to besides their employer and, a shameless plug, our show, right?
Yeah, because Walter, I mean, to be honest, you're not going to get employees. You're not going to get the people who you're talking about as customers. They're not going to know, even, from an FLSA perspective, what overtime exemption might mean.
Yep.
And if they understood the rules, that would be remarkable.
Yeah.
Because we don't even understand the rules. And the rules are changing. I mean, I think you've seen that there's a new proposed rate of $55,000 for exemption status,
Yep.
which is $20,000 more than where it is today.
Yep.
So that opens up millions upon millions of new people who might be non-exempt.
Yep.
Yeah.
The word non-exempt means nothing except for FLSA. So it's even a confusing word because you're basically saying someone isn't exempt from something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to wrap the concept. And so when I've worked with people in the past, one of the things I've tried to do is to say, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to create a document that's got all the jargon kind of translated from a glossary perspective so that real people like us, or maybe not like us because you guys are superheroes, but people like me could understand, what does this mean to you and what does this mean to your paycheck?
No, you're absolutely right. Like I think that one of the things that Brian mentioned to me is California just passing that 800. What's the Assembly Bill 800?
Assembly Bill 800.
Yeah, and they're really trying to educate juniors and seniors in high school on financial literacy and preparing them for their next journey, right? So I think that's a start, right? What California is doing, I think more people will start to gravitate towards that. And I think employers are going to do that. And I think that is going to help because everybody does realize that, like to your point, David, that there's not a lot of stuff out there that is low level, like low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of stuff that people are accessible for them to really understand. And most people aren't going to really go out there, even if they listen to the podcast, they're not going to go research that stuff. You know, it needs to be brought to them and say, hey, this is what you need right here, something deliverable, something that they can like get on a consistent basis, right? Because even if you spout information at them, it takes a while for them to learn that and for it to sink in, right?
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking subscribe. This podcast is made possible by Salary.com. Now, back to the show.
Let's transition, if we might, to the second question, which is the most common challenges you guys see in actually educating people.
Oof.
Because we've been talking about some of them, like the complexities.
Mhm.
But why can't companies just make this part of what they do? We don't need state requirements to do this. Why don't companies do this?
It's a good question. I think companies go as far as they have to, right? Payroll department always does a FAQ, right?
Right.
And you kind of just address the needs of your population at that micro level. We see those common issues there as well, but what we want to do is create that one place where we can go, and maybe it is your state and maybe it is the government that can build this new resource that gives you all the basic info. And it's across the board. It's not just what's unique to your company. We need a voice. We don't have that place where that consumer education is. It's always about like what your company needs. Well, this is our problem, so we're going to address that problem.
Yeah.
But the problem is that the state has so many differences, potentially like New York, for example.
Yes.
There's so many differences in the way payroll needs to get done across municipalities even.
Yes.
So how do you draw common education when something in Albany doesn't apply to New York City or doesn't apply to Staten Island even? Because of the local municipal potential rules that exist.
Yep.
How does that work? And that's why I'm kind of putting on the employer, since they already have to do all the withholdings and all the appropriate accruals anyways. Why don't we put it back on them?
Well, see, because it's kind of easy, because if I'm a New York City employee, all I have to tell my employees is, hey, you're subject to New York City tax and you're in the 5 boroughs, you have to pay this tax.
If they
I don't
live
have to
there.
then say, right.
But if they
fair,
don't live there.
fair. But I don't have to say, if you live in Albany, you're not going to pay it. All I got to say is, hey, we're in New York City. If you have a 5 borough address, tax is relevant.
But we also have a situation where we have remote employees,
Yes.
which complicates things.
Yes.
We have employees which are dual domiciled. We have employees who they're expats.
Yes.
So there's so many complications that whether it's the state, whether it's the employee, the employer, education's tough, man.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what makes it exciting. It's a
By the
an
way, only to
ongoing
you guys.
But that's good. Then we're here
It
to
is
fill
good.
that gap
It is
very
because
good.
somebody's got to
That's
get
right.
excited about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
right.
That's right. And by the way,
and I'll
I say
give
that
you
lovingly. That it's
do.
just you guys.
I'll give you a really great example. Somebody came to me and said, Brian, I had a problem with my employees. They were complaining that their pay is a day late. I was like, well, what do you mean? I said, well, payday's Friday. And Walt knows what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, payday's Friday. But everybody mostly gets paid on Thursday. And I was like, well, what do you mean? Well, their bank clears it on Thursday.
Yeah.
That's something special for their bank. The employer's check date is still Friday.
That's right.
Their law, their obligation is not until 5 p.m. end the business that Friday.
Yep.
So it's educating these folks like, hey, folks, Don't get angry at your company, at your employer or your payroll. Understand what your check date is.
Yeah.
And that's your check date. Unfortunately, your bank is going quicker. Awesome. But they also don't have to mandate to that requirement. If they're late that day, they're late. Walt, what was that the bank said to you one time when you had to call?
Well, the bank told me that they have until end of business, basically, to post someone's direct deposit on a check date.
Usually you get it at 9 a.m, right?
Yeah.
Or by that time. Some
Yes.
people getting it
Yeah.
12:01.
That's right.
You know? And these days, again, because the banking system is changing so rapidly, another opportunity for education.
Yeah.
Well, I think we also have situations, which I'm sure you both have seen, where some employees, obviously many actually get a check.
Yes.
That they have to either take to a check cashing place,
Yes.
a payday lender,
Yes.
unfortunately.
Oh, gosh,
Yes.
I hope not.
No, but it is a reality, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there. I know. I've been there.
And, we're dealing with, there's new technology. There's a company called Daily Pay, which I just heard on the radio too.
Oh, gosh.
So they were huge at HR Tech yesterday or last week, sorry. And so, there's a lot of different ways people are actually being consumers of that paycheck.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
paychecks are not paychecks anymore. They're everything,
They're
right?
not. Yeah, they're everything. Yeah.
Yep.
Payroll is life.
Yep. Payroll's life.
Yeah.
Which makes it more complex for the education piece too.
Yes.
It does.
Absolutely.
It does. But a lot of opportunity. And I think folks get scared away from that, right? Professionals may, this is too tough to teach consumers.
Mhm.
No, but somebody's got to do it. And in turn, it should help payroll and HR departments
Yes.
when you have a savvy consumer coming out.
Sure.
Hey, and I've looked at my stub because, David, you can log on and look at your pay stub.
I'll do it right after our podcast.
And, they go and can look at that and feel like they understand it. I had another friend that didn't understand when his pay period ended.
Yeah.
And they didn't have it flagged on the stub in a clear way.
Yeah.
It was just a random date in the corner. It didn't say pay period end date.
Yeah.
Basic stuff.
Yeah.
Basic stuff.
Basic stuff to us, right?
Correct. You're right.
Yeah, but Walter, you guys are so, and I'm not trying to be effusive in my praise of both of you, but you guys are brilliant when it comes to this stuff because it's hard. Payroll's hard.
It is.
When I owned payroll for half a minute in my previous life, one of my previous lives, I hated it because it's really a no-win proposition. And, when you got a call at like 12:02 because the CEO's paycheck didn't hit his account, like you guys were talking about, yeah, that's not a fun conversation.
Nope.
And then trying to get people awake to kind of deal with the problem.
Yeah.
Never fun, especially if they're vendors.
Yes.
Yep. Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Hey, are you listening to this and thinking to yourself, man, I wish I could talk to David about this? Well, you're in luck. We have a special offer for listeners of the HR Data Labs podcast. A free half-hour call with me about any of the topics we cover on the podcast or whatever is on your mind. Go to salary.com/HRDL consulting to schedule your free 30-minute call today. So let me complicate things a little bit. Let me go to the next realm.
Yes.
And let's talk about taxes.
Yes.
Because they are, they're of the three paradigms, birth, death, and taxes, right?
Yep.
So we need to educate employees on taxation, or they need to educate themselves. What have you found as most, I guess you could say, successful about that education, and who does it and how?
Well, you want to start with that?
Yeah. So we have an associate who has a really great breakdown of the new W-4, Gerard M. Hall, that payroll guy. He really breaks it down for people and explains it in a way that they can digest it. So I think that something like that, those tools are a start. But I think everyone's situation is different, right? So I think that for the tax piece of it and payroll, I think people don't understand how their W-4 is tied to their pay and their net pay, right? And if they have deductions in the W-2, right? So a lot of people don't really understand how those things work. So I think we have the opportunity as employers and professionals to really just say, hey, these are all things that impact your pay, taxes being one of those things, right? And I think that this just the general stuff is out there. Like, hey, go to your own tax professionals. One of the common things that we say in payroll,
of course,
because we can't give them, legal advice on taxes. So, hey, go to irs.gov. Here are some helpful links you can access and educate yourself. So I think it's giving the people the resources, even though you might be limited in the answer that you can give them, but pointing them in the right direction is the start. We can always do better with the information that we give, but I think pointing them in the right direction is where we start from that.
Yeah, you guys might recall that during the last administration, there was a change to withholding. And it seemed like they reduced taxes, but it wasn't. They reduced payroll taxes, but they did not reduce the tax burden. And so there were a lot of people who hadn't shifted their W-4s to accommodate, to take out more because the deductions were taking out less at that point.
Yes.
What do people do? How do they keep themselves, aware of that? Because while there was a lot of pronouncements from the government, they basically were talking about tax cuts, but it wasn't a tax cut. How do people stay on top of that stuff? I mean, just going to irs.gov isn't going to do that.
No, it's tough. It's consuming multiple resources until you understand it. And that's the thing. The resources are scarce and they're complicated. Honestly, they ended up learning because their paycheck was hit, because they ended up owing at the end of the year with a W-2.
Oh, that's such a rude awakening.
Angry. You guys messed this up. And honestly, that's when me and Walt were like, okay, we got to take a more active role in helping folks. And not only at our jobs, right? Because that's where they needed it. Like, we had to start there. But in the world, because this was too much.
Yeah. I think that we as the employers can do a little bit more when it comes to these things. Just, before giving them legal advice on their taxes and how to file, we could do a little bit more by providing, like, hey, in their new hire packet, hey, there's some stuff in here about taxes, W-4, this, that, like your benefits, how your benefits are going to may impact your taxes if you have pre-tax deductions and those things, right? Like, we could give them more resources at the beginning, because to your point, like, just sending them to irs.gov is not going to be enough for them. They'll get there and they'll still be lost. Like, we could tell them, like, hey, the IRS has a tax calculator that can estimate what they would need to pay, and according to their situation, right? So we can have them use that, right? But if we just point them to irs.gov and say, hey, look at the circular E, nobody's going to understand that. I used to do that earlier in my career.
What? Am I going to be able to get something off of my eggs when I go to the store?
Yes.
It's the only circular I know. But that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. We've got to be very specific, right? And point out certain tools and not trying to overwhelm them, because, after a while it becomes noise. And to your point, going to the IRS website, holy. So this is not, we're never going to solve world peace in one episode. And the one thing I'll tell everybody is these two guys are brilliant. Go listen to their podcasts. Thank you. There's 24 hours a day. I was telling them before, there's 24 hours in a day. You can listen to ours for 12 and theirs for the 12. That's totally cool.
Yeah. We got the world covered between the two.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. But listen, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you being on the podcast. And we're going to have you back, because there are other topics I know we have to cover.
Oh,
Heck
absolutely.
Yeah. Anytime. Thank you so much.
Let's not wait years, though.
Yeah. Well, it was, man, for a moment, I was like, we're not even big enough to be on HR Data Labs yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
and honestly, I didn't even have the courage to reach out.
Oh, please.
And yeah, look, we've been following you guys. You guys have really been helping us model our podcast, so we thank you a lot.
Yeah. Well, this is definitely a don't do what we do, and you'll be great. Anyways, thank you so much, Walter. Brian, appreciate you being on the program.
Thank you very much.
Everybody listen to their two podcasts. We're going to have show notes. We're going to put links in. Listen to these guys. They are brilliant. Everybody take care and stay safe.
That was the HR Data Labs podcast. If you liked the episode, please subscribe. And if you know anyone that might like to hear it, please send it their way. Thank you for joining us this week, and stay tuned for our next episode. Stay safe.